mom and their sister in a tragic accident, we know that the world was still turning.
Your teacher.
When things get tough to think about yourself, but to care
Sparta!
never asks, why is this happening to me? And instead asks, what can I do to make life better for you? His empathy, his compassion, his sense of duty to care for others is why I am so proud to be on this ticket. And yes, we are cut from the same cloth. Family is everything to me too. And I cannot wait for America to get to know my husband Doug and our amazing kids Cole and Ella. Because whether I'm cheering in the bleachers at a swim meet, or setting up a college room dorm, or helping my goddaughter prepare for her school debate, or building Legos with my godson, or hugging my 2 baby nieces, or cooking dinner, Sunday dinner. My family means everything to me. And I've had a lot of titles over my career, and certainly Vice President will be great. Will always be the one that means the most. And you know, my mother and father, they came from opposite sides of the world. One from India and the other from Jamaica, in search of a middle-class education. But what brought them together was the civil rights movement in the 1960s. And that's how they met as students in the streets of Oakland, marching and shouting for this thing called justice, in a struggle that continues today. And I was part of it. My parents would bring me to protests strapped tightly in my stroller. And my mother, Shamala, raised my sister Maya and me to believe that it was up to us and every generation of Americans to keep on marching. She'd tell us, don't sit around and complain about things, do something. So I did something. I devoted my life to making real the words carved in the United States Supreme Court, equal justice under law. And 30 years ago, I stood before a judge for the first time, breathed deep, and uttered the phrase that will truly guide my career and the rest of my career. Kamala Harris for the people. The people. That's why I represented the district attorney. Fighting on behalf of victims in the people. That's who I fought for as California's Attorney General when I took on transnational criminal organizations who traffic in guns and drugs and human beings. And it's the people who I have fought for.
The lady's going to be vice president.
Where I worked every day.
Brother Michaud. Her dad was from Jamaica. Her mother from India.
Oh.
That's what a combination. So she's only half black.
Fight for it every day.
Looks like Obama black.
And let me tell you, somebody who is
Maybe her mother was black. I don't know. She used to work with her dad. They used to go marching for black people. She said she'd grab her in her stroller and take her with her.
more than 16 million out
To
of
her sister. You got to keep marching the rest of your life.
who cannot go back to school.
We'll fight for you right.
The crisis of poverty, of homelessness, afflicting black and indigenous people the most. A crisis of hunger, afflicting 1 in 5 mothers who have children that are hungry. And tragically, more than 165,000 lives that have been cut short. Many with loved ones who never got the chance to say goodbye.
That's true. They were in the hospital, they won't say goodbye.
6 years ago, we all remember that pandemic. But you know what happened then? Barack Obama and Joe Biden did their job. Only 2 people in the United States died. 2. That is what's called leadership. But compare that to the moment we find ourselves in now. When other countries are following the science, Trump pushed miracle cures he saw on Fox News. Countries were flattening the curve. He said the virus would just poof away. Like a miracle. So when other countries go back up for business, what do? We have to shut down again. This virus has impacted almost every country. But there's a reason it has hit America worse than any other advanced nation. It's because of Trump's failure to take it seriously from the start. His refusal to get testing up and running. His flip-flopping on social distancing and wearing masks. His delusional belief that he knows better than the experts. All of that is reason. And the reason that an American dies of COVID-19 every 80 seconds. It's why countless businesses have had to shut their doors for good. It's why there is complete chaos over when and how to reopen our schools. Mothers and fathers are confused and uncertain and angry about childcare and the safety of their kids at school, whether they'll be in danger if they go or fall behind if they don't. Trump is also the reason millions of Americans are now unemployed. He inherited the longest economic expansion in history from Barack Obama and Joe Biden. And then, like everything else he inherited, he ran it straight into the ground. Because of Trump's failures of leadership, our economy has taken one of the biggest hits out of all the major industrialized nations, with an unemployment rate that has tripled as of today.
Yeah, but
This is when
$600
the guy
people don't want to go to work.
just isn't up for the job. Our country ends up in tatters, and so does our reputation around the world. But let's be clear, this election isn't just about defeating Donald Trump or Mike Pence. It's about building this country back better. And that's exactly what you and I will do. We'll create millions of jobs and fight climate change through a clean energy revolution. Bring back critical supply chains so the future is made in America. Build on the Affordable Care Act so everyone has the peace of mind that comes with health insurance. And finally, offer caregivers the dignity, the respect, and the pay they deserve. We'll protect a woman's right to make her own decisions about her own body. Root out systemic racism in the justice system and pass a new Voting Rights Act, a John Lewis Voting Rights Act, that will ensure every voice is heard and every voice is counted. The civil rights struggle is nothing new to Joe. It's why he got into public service. It's why he helped reauthorize the Voting Rights Act and restore unemployment discrimination and employment discrimination laws. And today, he takes his place in the ongoing story of America's march toward equality and justice as the only who has served alongside the first black president and has chosen the first black woman as his running mate. But it still always points out this election is about more than politics. It's about who we are as a country. And I'll admit, in the past 4 years, there have been moments when I have been worried about the future. But whenever I think that there is a reason for doubt, whenever I've had my own doubts, I think of you, the Americans, the doctors and nurses and frontline workers who are risking your lives to save others.
Come to bed, I'll give you a tip.
The truck drivers and the workers in grocery stores, in factories, in farms, working there, putting their health safety on the line to help us get through this pandemic. The women and students taking to the streets in unprecedented numbers. The dreamers and immigrants who know that families belong together. The LGBTQ Americans who know that love is loved. People of every age and color and creed who are finally declaring in one voice that yes, Black Lives Matter. We all trust this country as a generation of children. It's grown up hearing the cry for justice and the chance of hope on which I was raised, some strapped into strollers of their own. And trust me, it's a song we'll never forget. So to everyone keeping up the fight, you are doing something. You are doing something great. You are the heroes of our time. And you are the reason I know we are going to bring our country closer to realizing its great promise. But to do it, we'll need to work, organize, and vote like never before, because we need more than a victory on November 3rd. We need a mandate that proves that the past few years do not represent who we are or who we aspire.
Yeah, Howard.
Yes.
She's like lying. She'll have no papers in front of her. She's just looking at and talking to everybody.
That's good.
That's what they're lying about.
So 3 years ago today, he knew we were in a battle to solve our nation. And to get our help, that's a battle we will win. Earlier this year, I said, I do whatever Joe asked me to do. And so now I'm asking you to do the same. So visit JoeBiden.com to get involved in this campaign and vote. Because electing Joe Biden is just the start of the work ahead of us. And I couldn't be prouder to be by his side, running to represent you, the people. Thank you, and may God bless the United States of America.
She can have no papers in front of her. She's
Democrats are off and running for their general election campaign. The formal introduction of that was needed. Joe Biden's selection for running mate, the Senator from California, Kamala Harris. A lot of pictures from the Alexis DuPont High School in Wilmington, Delaware, where they laid out preliminarily their objectives should they win come November. And this is the moment where, for the first time, we see the families, albeit with social distance, interact and get a sense of the chemistry among the Bidens and the vice presidential pick, and usually the kids and the balloons and all that. But with what we're going through these days, this is a much more subdued joint appearance.
Totally different scene here during this pandemic. You can see them coming together there, touching on a few issues that we're obviously going to be addressing during their campaign. COVID, of course, racism and jobs. Kamala Harris speaking a little longer than the former Vice President Joe Biden for 15 minutes.
What we heard from Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, the discussion of shared values, the impression that the sides really wanted to put out there is their ability to work together as a team. And you heard each of them mention the former Vice President's time working as a team member with former President Obama. They want that impression out there that teamwork is how we approach this. That is how the Vice President selected Kamala Harris to be a member of his team. And that's what they were trying to convey in this first joint appearance today.
One of her quotes, she said, America is crying out for leadership. And again, as you mentioned, Craig, that picture of both parties coming together with their spouses wearing masks during COVID-19 is definitely different than anything we've ever seen before. And this election will definitely have a different look and feel for 2020.
And now from here, the payer clip an online fundraiser this evening. Now it's about raising money as they head to the home stretch the day of November election. So we'll keep an eye on the day that they have as the Democrats anyway are off and running for the general campaign.
We're going to start 7 News at 5:30 right now. A dangerous suspect seen riding a bike stopped by police shortly after being accused of a very chilling crime. That man accused of an alarming assault. Police say a couple was robbed at knife point, and things got worse from there.
Said Raphael Paris is on Miami News with how police say they tracked down the attacker. Raphael?
Yeah, well, police say it happened out here on the beach near the 3rd Street lifeguard stand. Again, that suspect is
A man accused of sexual battery and armed robbery in Miami Beach caught by police after being caught on camera.
This was a brazen act.
It happened just after 3 a.m. on August 5th. Miami Beach police say
Yeah.
Tamayo, armed with a knife, approached a man and a woman who were sitting on the beach near the 3rd Street lifeguard stand.
He punches the male victim, knocks his person down to the ground, takes his jewelry, and then instructs him to walk towards the ocean.
Police say Tamayo then turned his attention to the female victim.
He pushes the knife, presses it up against her back, forces her down to the ground. At that point, he digitally penetrates her, removes the necklace with a unique pendant that she has on, while threatening her, and ultimately flees the scene.
Detectives quickly got to work combing through surveillance video to catch the culprit. They say officers tracked the right after the incident. And on Thursday, police say they found Tamayo in a nearby residential area on the same bike and wearing the same shoes from the video.
And once he stopped, he's actually wearing that necklace with that unique pendant that he had stolen from her. He admits to being in the area, although denies the damage in this particular case.
Tamayo was
Okay, so Tamayo is being held at TGK with that bond, but police believe there may be other victims connected to Tamayo. They say if you have any questions on that, please give them a call.
All right, there's something going on in the tropics. I mean, it is the season, but we want to keep our eyes on this activity.
All right, and this is still a profitable question against will continue to push the northwest, then become islands, and that is perfect for the weekend as it moves into the western Atlantic. It's going to look for a path, and that is where the higher probably stay across the the water striking when voters said there was a blast on board.
The voters were forced to swim back to shore. Andrew?
Fortunately, everyone is going to be okay. That's according to the City of Miami Fire Rescue. This right here is a gas station where fuels come to fill up, and they came here to the Riverfront Marina to do just that. They then left the marina, and just meters away, that is where this explosion happened. These are real measures to be done that. Circumstances whenever you have a boat that explodes.
Chaos on the water Wednesday. Report of Fish and Wildlife says a 26-foot-long boat had a rear explosion, damaging the vessel and injuring the 4 people on board. 3 of them managed to swim to safety, while the other was rescued by first responders and transported to a nearby hospital.
But luckily it was close to that where they were able to make it back rather quickly, and we were able to get the other gentleman onto the dock rather quickly as well.
The explosion happened just before 9 in the morning after the passengers fueled up at the Riverfront Marina.
Once they were making their way out of the dock, right behind me, they had the explosion.
Despite minimal damage, FWC says this explosion could have been much worse. They're using it as a reminder to make sure voters across South Florida are prepared for a day on the water by having the proper equipment on board, like a fire extinguisher and a radio.
If this didn't happen in such a populated area, if this happened in the middle of the ocean, you want to be able to call for help. FWC is starting this investigation right now. That explosion, the cause of it, has yet to be determined.
For Live in Virginia Key, I'm Andrew Scheinfeld, 7 News. Coronavirus pandemic. A new study is out that some experts say sheds some light on how the virus spreads through the air.
Yeah.
Love you.
Love you too. Huh? Love you more.
Love you more.
Love you more.
John Levitsky is part of a team that conducted the study. Technology they use to gently remove the virus aerosols from the air without damaging them. They tested virus samples on cells infected with the coronavirus. The samples were gathered from far away.
Did you get an IMU fix?
No.
Have you contacted them?
I don't know. Probably.
Social distancing guidelines are generally
What?
Probably.
60. Now, some believe this study
What?
Probably.
happens through the air, and that these aerosols travel farther than 45
Babe, type what you're saying. I can't hear you.
Probably.
Every potential concern is schools gear up for the new year.
I cannot hear what you're saying.
Probably, yes.
Online. Elsewhere, from public schools to colleges and universities, some plan to reopen
Really?
their campuses. With that in mind, this advice.
Weirdo.
The best thing to ask, if you have a sick kid, don't send them to school. If the teacher is sick, just let them go to school.
And of course, the same preventative measures that have been
I want
by the medical
50.
community
I want
since the pandemic
25 out there.
reduce the spread of those infectious aerosols.
Until the virus goes away, wear those masks, and we can keep it under control. Do that social distancing and wear those masks.
Dr. Levitsky says his team is also looking into potential changes and mutations with COVID-19 virus and what that could mean for future treatment.
You know what? The whole time I realized it's now they take one of the races you're going to see on your John said it's going to look at the candidates running for Broward County Sheriff.
It's the former sheriff running against the current sheriff. Scott Israel was first elected in 2012 and re-elected in 2016. But two mass shootings under his watch had the airport in 2017 and in Parkland in 2018 brought intense criticism of BSO and of Israel.
I've given amazing leadership to this agency.
Amazing leadership. Governor DeSantis suspended Israel and appointed former Coral Springs Police Sergeant Gregory Tony as the new sheriff. Now, Israel's asking voters to bring him back to BSO.
I was suspended unjustly by a governor who thought that his one vote trumped the 600,000 votes we received.
Israel says among his accomplishments while in office, body cameras and expanding the juvenile civil citation program.
Humbly, I've done more than police leader to dismantle the schoolhouse, the jailhouse pipeline.
Israel has criticized his opponent for not disclosing shooting and killing a man as a teenager in Philadelphia. Tony says it was self-defense, and the court found him not guilty. But the Florida Department of Law Enforcement is looking into whether Tony was truthful when filling out official documents. The incumbent says he, too, is running on his record. Tony launched the Real-Time Crime Center to track school threats and has increased active shooter training.
We have taken this agency to being one of the worst active shooters prepared to the best.
Tony's also fired a number of deputies accused of excessive force.
I have held this agency and men and women under my command to the highest level of accountability. We can't afford to have law enforcement officers who go out into the field and violate the public trust.
There's also a handful of other Democrats vying to lead BSO.
I worked for the Broward Sheriff's Office for over 35 years. I started as a local patrol deputy. I rose through the ranks and I retired as a colonel.
Al Pollack, a Marine Corps veteran, is viewed as Tony and Israel's most formidable challenger. He's backed by a number of the unions.
One of the problems with the Sheriff's Office at the moment is with the morale. So I will really truly build on the morale.
Willie Jones, who has experience as a corrections and police officer, says the agency needs to adopt a 21st century model of policing.
Changing the hiring process, changing the training process, changing how we discipline, change how we promote.
Andrew Smalley was also in the Marine Corps, worked at BSO, and is a former Lauderhill police chief. He says BSO should move away from what he calls a warrior mentality.
Instead of reaching for weapons, you use a very effective weapon that you have, which is your voice, your demeanor, your stature, to try to bring situations down.
Santiago Vasquez is an Army combat veteran and former BSO deputy. One of his priorities, hiring more mental health professionals.
I want to share that inspires courage and that saves lives and not take lives.
There are also two Republican candidates in the race. Dwayne Clark, an Army veteran and attorney, says BSO needs more accountability.
BSO is riddled with politics. Politics has led BSO down a very slippery slope into making Broward County unsafe.
Army veteran Casimiro Navarro, who previously worked for both Miami Springs Police and BSO, says building a better relationship with the public is key.
Try to work a better relationship with the community. The community at this point doesn't trust the employees.
The winners of the Democratic and Republican August 18th primaries will go on to face no party-affiliated candidates in the November general election. To learn more about these candidates, we have links to their websites on our website, WSPN.com. At BSO headquarters, Senator Scott,
Are you coming up on 7 News here? Passengers coming under fire. Then they made a decision that would help
He's winning battles in the ring is that locked the fight of his life against COVID. So he's on station.
And the Democratic ticket making their first campaign appearance together. You saw it a few moments ago. Joe Biden's historic pick is making a one-stop for the community very proud.
Feeling double filter is one thing. It doesn't have to change. Mix and match with double hot sliced chicken and small fries. Anything $50.
Things are heating up during the final days of the summer clear today at Origo. Hurry up for financing as low as 0% for up to 72 months plus. No payments for 90 days. For the lowest price and the biggest selection, you gotta go to Origo. I'm Joe Biden.
I approve this message.
She was the most welcoming person you could ever imagine. Her home was the safe place. It was difficult to comprehend how quickly everything kind of spiraled downwards. We didn't even know that she had COVID until a week later in her passing. The president made a huge mistake in downplaying this virus. There was a lack of leadership, a lack of responsibility, and a lack of resources. I felt like our elderly have not been a priority for this administration, that they don't matter. And I feel like my grandmother didn't matter. The last time I saw my grandmother, we weren't going to be allowed in the hospital. We asked if we could video chat her, and everyone could say a little something. We gathered as a family and prayed. But the fact that she was alone, I just breaks my heart.
Feeling double filter is one thing. It doesn't have to change. Mix and match with double hot sliced chicken and small fries. Anything $50.
Cohen and Cohen, we put you first. Call 800-33-COHEN.
Caught on camera, a bolt from the blue. Lightning strikes a tree in a Florida neighborhood during a perfectly sunny Florida day. The general expects lightning to accompany a thunderstorm.
Yeah, it's so strange, but without any warning, Mother Nature delivered a shocking strike over the Tampa Bay area. Monday afternoon, Nathaniel Moore was inside the garage at his home near Tampa when a scary strike came down.
It was a big flash and it hit the house. It was pretty crazy.
That bolt of lightning piercing a palm tree across the street like a scorching needle.
I think everyone's hair was sort of standing straight up.
The jarring video shows blue sky in the background with dark clouds moving in.
The sun was out. The skies were clear right above us, and that's what the scary part of it is.
Experts warn a boat can travel a long way from a storm at any angle. This picture taken in Venice is a prime example. That bolt likely 5 miles away from the storm itself. Tuesday, Hernando Fire Rescue battled 4 fires likely caused by lightning, they say. One at a home, the other 3 brush fires, the largest covering about 185 acres. July 5th, a lightning strike injuring 2 men at Clearwater Beach.
Out of nowhere, you heard a crack and then you heard what was a loud explosion.
Another man was hurt July 25th after a bolt knocked him off his rack. Lessons to take heart. Lightning strikes a little too close to home.
When you hear thunder in the distance, that doesn't mean I gotta start wrapping things up. It means I need to start thinking about going inside.
Well, it's true. Experts say standing under a tree, camping, even relaxing at the beach are 3 of the worst places that you can be as the storm approaches. And according to the National Weather Service, lightning has killed 11 people in 2020 so far, including 1 person here in the state of Florida.
And I hear from the station a delicious new deal adding to the Miami Spice menu this year.
And this meal is not from a restaurant.
Opportunity awaits during the Summer of Speed event at Rick Case Alfa Romeo. This week at Alfa Romeo, luxury, style, and performance at model year-end savings. The new Giulia now just $299 a month for buy with 0 down. The spacious Stelvio SUV now only $349 a month for buy with 0 down. Plus buy online at rickcasealfaromeo.com and get home delivery. Don't like it? We'll bring it back. Model year-end savings this week at Rick Case Alfa Romeo. Sanitized and safe. I-75 on Weston Road.
To all my friends in South Florida, now more than ever, a drop of kindness goes a very long way. Boss Water has been here and we will continue to be here doing our small part. Now we encourage you to spread compassion however you can by nominating someone deserving of kindness. I want you to visit bosswater.com/Miami and we're going to give them a case of Boss Water to stay hydrated. You'll also receive a little something in there for you. Stay safe, my friends. It's all about the you, baby.
Tonight on 7 News at 10.
Hello everybody, I'm Patrick Frazier.
And I'm Howard Finkelstein with a look at the next Help Me Howard.
That money's gone. Remember the federal bailout of businesses when the coronavirus hit? Eric used the money to pay his employees. Now he's being told, give it back. And they're not even giving me time to pay it off. They're telling me I have 10 days to pay it off, and that's it. Can a business be forced to return the money they got when the coronavirus hit? Help Me Howard has a story tonight at 10 on 7 News.
Now there's a book that's been put on hold.
Hello? I'm good, how are you? You're very welcome.
I want to have a chance to spend good life.
Yes.
I want to be there for my boys.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you put them away.
Okay.
Now the month ends. You'll get Lloyd's Mint bonus cash up to $2,000.
Okay.
Plus 0% APR financing. We want to see ya in a brand new or certified pre-owned Hollywood Kia.
Democrat Joshua Rydell is Broward County's champion for criminal justice reform. As our next state attorney, Joshua
Yes, I'm a U.S.
Rydell will
citizen.
focus on ending mass incarceration by addressing serious crimes like gun violence. He'll help those with substance abuse.
Ooh, you were right back in the 90s.
He'll also fight fraud to
I couldn't really remember the exact year.
Joshua Rydell is a former Broward County in the state
High school,
attorney's office.
some little bit of college.
Or at JoshuaRydell.com.
Annual event that is pressing on during the pandemic is Miami Spice.
But this year, it's not just restaurants serving up delicious deals. So, for example, a lot of the classes on Silver Pine Tree, you can get free meal deals at some of your favorite spots for a bargain price. And this year, your options are being
I don't think anything that will be able to go to school for unless it's like what I'm doing now, like it's FANEVGEMON WOLF, and that's at gmail.com.
Mother's Day for different holidays, we felt the life was a natural transition for us to really show a great value.
Food pros are creating their yummy goodness.
HLWARD. And the last name is RETK. In the middle. In the middle name or?
Bring a restaurant aesthetic and
You're welcome.
environment. So I think the 95 program is a big highlight that.
The address I'm currently at now is where is it? I'm not good at it. There we go. I looked at the easy paper, sorry. 1660 Northeast 56th Street, that's apartment 2. That's in Fort Lauderdale at the moment. 33334.
So they can be brought by. And also comes up with a very good
Save room for dessert.
You're very welcome. Okay.
For an added bonus, you can even buy a bottle of bubbly.
Okay.
You order directly through Bell Hamptons and they deliver it. With all this fancy food, they even have a way to make sure you don't mess up when it gets to your house.
We get very detailed heating instructions with my email and my cell number so people will call me, email me, things that they have questions about. And we like to interact with the guests.
This is awesome. It gives me a more expanded menu options as opposed to kitchen restaurants that get to access theaters and local theaters and that.
There's one important thing to remember. Plan ahead.
We're not a public restaurant. You have to source and buy everything on a daily basis. We do prefer a 24-hour window.
You have to order at least 2 meals from Bell Hamptons for delivery. For more information on their Miami Spice program, just head over to WSN.com.
Where is that at?
Live in the Express, the Ring Sandoval, 7 East.
Now, 7 weather with Keep Meteorologist Bill Bell.
Okay.
Looked at the tropics, the big deal. The only thing that we are following right now is Tropical Depression 11 in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Regionally, 88 degrees right now in Miami, 90 in Nassau, 88 Havana, 90s across much of the rest of the Caribbean except for Kingston and San Juan, Puerto Rico. We did have a lot of heavy rain today, especially in Broward County, where we got anywhere between an inch to about 2 inches of rain. That led to a that was lifted at 12:30 in the afternoon. Here's the very latest from Tropical Depression. Really listen to this on satellite imaging.
Crazy shit.
Battling some dry air. It remains at 35-mile-per-hour winds. That's of a 5-year advisory. Here's a close-up cone. High pressure will push it 80 towards the northernmost Leeward Islands. It could be very close to them sometime Saturday afternoon with 60-mile-per-hour winds, and then it's going to make a turn as it weakens. Back down to possibly a depression on Monday. Hopefully, this will stay over the waters and not bother anybody. For us, high pressure and front control, we still see a spotty downpour tonight. By tomorrow, high pressure dominating our weather, pushing whatever rain develops inland, possibly towards southwest Florida, and then by Friday, we're looking at more of the same. The high pressure is not going anywhere. It will still see some isolated showers in the morning, and then some downpours in the afternoon before we west into the Everglades. Here's the marine forecast, no advisories. Biscayne Bay with a light chop. The Florida Keys, 50-knot winds. Speaks inside the reef, 1 to 3 feet. Next tide change will be low tide, 9:37 in Fort Lauderdale, 9:46, 10:23 in Key West. Night partly cloudy skies, a couple of isolated showers, still a warm one. Lows will be in the low 80s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, an isolated thunderstorm is possible in the afternoon. Highs in the low 90s. Here's your extended outlook. A little bit of chance for a few thunderstorms Friday, and then typical summertime weather all across the weekend and the middle part of next week. Next, 7 forecast. Changes, be right back.
Right now, at Rooms to Go. This is it. Time to save. Time to improve the way you sleep. Just choose your perfect mattress set from our big selection of top brands and switch your foundation to this adjustable base for free. King or queen size. And check out our amazing selection of mattress buys throughout the store. Save on Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, Therapeutic, and more. There's something for everyone. So find your perfect mattress now at Rooms to Go.
Businesses are starting to bounce back. But what if businesses
better than that. Like adapt, discover, deliver new ways to new customers. What if you become back stronger, faster, better? At Comcast Business, we want to help you not just bounce back, but bounce forward. And now, we're committed to helping you do just that. Powerful and reliable internet voice solutions for every price and by vote. Call or go online today.
Get once a year model year-end clearance savings.
Now at Rick Case. All 2020 Hyundai models must go now. So this weekend, Rick Case get our guaranteed lowest clearance price or your money back. Buy now with no money down. Plus, get 0% financing for 72 months. Or get up to $3,250 cash back. Over 1,000 new Hyundais in stock. Or buy online at rickcasehyundaiflorida.com with home delivery. And if you don't like it, we'll bring it back. Our model year-end clearance sale this week at Rick Case Hyundai. Sanitize and save on I-75 or 441.
Biden says
You're lucky paying your taxes when your raise not cut.
that means middle-class families, small businesses, and seniors pay higher taxes. It's the biggest tax increase in history.
Hello.
For 11 million undocumented folks.
That means 11 million illegal immigrants competing for American jobs.
Okay, no problem.
Healthcare,
Okay, come
Social
on.
Security, and Medicare. America can't afford Joe Biden.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
News brought to you by Prestige Windows and Doors.
That is 70s at 5:30. Thank you. I'm Craig Stevens.
I'm with Martinez. 7 News at 6 begins right now.
Now, on 7 News, the car on the highway coming under fire.
When I looked to my left, I saw two red cars running a pace.
And that was the start of one wild ride. Something in the tropics picking up steam. Trees and more. Swamped in parts of South Florida. The debut of the Democratic ticket and the VP pick, making many proud here at home. And a boxer in the fight of his life against COVID-19. It's a 7 News exclusive. This is 7 News at 6. Now at 6, a ride-share driver picking up some customers.
I'm just a simple freaking Uber driver. I am my own business.
And things would take a dangerous turn. 7 News with the Highway Homer.
Okay, good evening, everybody. A car came under fire in this ride-share scare.
And those people inside the car following the shooters. 7 News at Holly Live in Hollywood, where it all ended. She's got her top story. Jessica?
And this is where the Uber driver stopped following the guys with the gun, and police picked up the chase. And why this Uber driver became a target is still a mystery. Bullets fly on I-95, a dash cam rolling as someone takes aim at an Uber driver.
I saw two red cars running a pace.
The shaken driver choosing to remain anonymous, talking to 7 just hours after the close call.
I'm just a simple freaking Uber driver. I am my own business. And this happened. Look at bullets.
The terrifying ordeal began with a pickup at the Hard Rock Casino. A couple getting in for a ride around 1:45 Wednesday morning. Not long after hitting 95 South, someone in a white Mercedes pulled up and pulled out a gun. Then this. 7 shots, then the Mercedes takes off. The Uber driver following the car into Hollywood, keeping 911 on the line and steering police in the right direction. Police would find and follow the car, the guys inside eventually parking and running in the area of Polk Street and North 13th Avenue. It was pretty crazy on me. This woman looked out her window to find a driveway packed with police. And they said, Hollywood police, guns out, get back in your house. Cell phone video showing the 2 men police arrested next to her home. They also recovered a black semi-automatic handgun. Nobody was hurt when the shots were fired, but this driver's Honda is full of holes, and he's left wondering why.
I always saw this guy start shooting out of the heart. Why? I wish to know why.
And so far, police have not released the names of the men who were arrested. Red Light Hollywood, Jessica Hawley, 7 News.
We're tracking the tropic tropics is a depression far out in the Atlantic and is set to strengthen at some point in the season's next tropical storm.
And some storms have parts of South Florida flooding fast earlier today. Stacey Spilter are live with all the details in the Weather Center. Phil?
Well, we had some very slow-moving downpours earlier today, especially along Broward County. Anywhere between an inch to 2 inches. Look at Deerfield Beach for 1.96. That led to a steep flood advisory. That was lifted at 12:30 this afternoon, and since then, everything has been nice and quiet, and it should remain that way for the rest of the night. Meanwhile, here's a good close-up view of tropical depression number 11. It is still a depression as of 5 p.m. It's still fighting off some dry air. The southern extent of that depression basically exposed to the elements, but the National Hurricane Center thinks that it could still become a tropical storm during the overnight hours. 35-mile-per-hour winds moving west at 15, just over 1,200 miles east-southeast of the northernmost Leeward Islands. So high pressure will push it to the northwest, could become Josephine overnight, and then it will come close to the northern Leeward Islands there, but it should remain away from the area. And then in the long haul, it is expected to weaken, possibly down to a depression on Monday, and then it's going to look for a gap, which is still around, between high pressure to the east and a front to the west. Now, it does not have any roadblocks now in the atmosphere. That's why the National Hurricane Center thinks that it could intensify, but by the time it reaches the Leeward Islands, it is going to run into a wall of wind, very strong upper-level winds known as shear, and that should help to weaken it as it moves into the western Atlantic. We'll have more on our local forecast a little bit later on in weather.
For the Democrats, the general election campaign is now officially underway. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are ready to run. This is their first appearance as running mates.
That's right. They're laying out their plans if they win in November. Senator Robinson is not in this point for the story. Robin, well, the last in-person campaign event Joe Biden had was in March. Senator Kamala Harris happened to be with him then. 5 months later, they are together again as running mates. Both of them say they will have to hit the ground running if they are elected. Let's take a look at the pair walking out together, both in Navy suits, both wearing masks. At a high school in Wilmington, Delaware, Biden talked about Harris's ability to govern, her commitment to environmental justice, as well as her reputation as a fighter. She was Attorney General of California before she became senator. They both slammed President Trump for what they call the lack of leadership in the face of economic, public health, and racial crises.
We have a public health crisis. While it's in court trying to do away with health care. With more than 5 million reported infections, 165,000 people dead and climbing as a consequence of COVID-19. And still, months later, no real leadership or plan from the President of the United States. We have an economic crisis. More than 16 million Americans. 16 million still out of work. Donald Trump is on track to break another record. On track to leave office with the worst jobs record of any American president in modern history.
Joe, I'm so proud to stand with you. And I do so mindful of all the heroic and ambitious women before me whose sacrifice, determination, and resilience makes my presence here today even possible. This is a moment of real consequence for America. When we elect a guy who just isn't up for the job, our country ends up in tatters, and so does our reputation around the world. But let's be clear, this election isn't just about defeating Donald Trump or Mike Pence. It's about building this country back better.
Again, the spouses, Dr. Joe Biden and Douglas Emhoff, joining the pair after their speeches. They'll hug, they'll proud the supporters inside the gymnasium at Albert Ivy Park High School. Of course, due to the global pandemic and social distancing and guidelines, this campaign will be very different than other presidential campaigns because of the pandemic. Online fundraisers and campaigning. CNN is reporting Senator Harris will be hitting swing states for in-person campaigning. Remember, Biden is 77 years old, so because of his age, he's considered to be in the high-risk category for COVID-19. Harris is 55. Live in the news, Clark Robinson, 7 News. And coming up at 6:30, our coverage continues from the very place they made their first appearance as running mates. We take you live to Delaware.
Well, it's Florida communities gained with pride over the selection of Senator Harris.
7's Vanessa Medina live in Lauderhill with this side of the story. Vanessa?
Well, here in Lauderhill, there's a large Jamaican population. So hearing that Senator Harris is half Jamaican, half Indian, men here are just elated, saying Senator Harris gives them hope they haven't had in a long time. Catherine Malcolm serves up her specialty. She's the owner of the successful chain Jerk Machine. And with the announcement of Kamala Harris, she has a pep in her step.
It came on over the news, and I was just like, I screamed out, and I thought, oh, this is so exciting. You know, to have someone like Kamala to be a vice president, I think it's going to be really great.
Kamala Harris's mother, Shyamala, was from India. She was a breast cancer researcher, and sadly, she died in 2009. At this Indian specialty store in Oakland Park, the news of Harris is inspirational.
It's a proud moment because I saw there's so many candidates. And, but I had a feeling that they're going to pick up.
Senator Harris's father, Donald Harris, a retired Stanford economics professor, he's from Jamaica.
My mother and father, they came from opposite sides of the world to arrive in America. One from India and the other from Jamaica, in search of a world-class education.
Now, with India and Jamaica, you get a true Commonwealth worldview of the world. She's a realist, she knows about people's issues, and she's a decent person who you can trust.
I'm so happy, I'm so proud. I'm wearing my Jamaican shirt in support.
Not only are her Indian and Jamaican roots exciting for many, but the fact that she's a woman.
As a woman, I'm ecstatic. As a Jamaican, I am proud. As a black woman, I am hopeful. I'm super excited. Also being somebody on the court, because I'm also an attorney, a lawyer, so I can say I love it, I love it, I love it.
It tells me that if she can do it, I can do it. And when I have a daughter, she can do it too.
Excitement for Melissa Dunn, who has her own political aspirations, but also exciting for her whole family.
I called my mother. We literally had 3 generations of Jamaican women in my family on a call, cheering each other on and just really feeling super encouraged.
I just believe in my heart of hearts that she's the ideal person, the ideal selection, the ideal pick to govern for everybody. And we need that right now.
So many of these supporters saying they will do whatever they have to leading up to the election so that she is the victor. Reporting live in Lauderhill tonight, Vanessa Medina, 7 News.
Back to Touchdown Station this evening with a story of a boxer and the fight of his life in South Florida battling COVID-19. So as Mike Pasquale has this season, Holy Cross Hospital to bring us the exclusive, Mike.
And I've known a lot of boxers in my day. They all had the same makeup. They will go the distance to win a fight. Right now, every day is another round for a former local professional fighter battling coronavirus.
Heartbreaking to see someone so strong for so long succumb to such an illness.
James Dorsey was once a 2-time Golden Gloves boxing champion, 1-time middleweight and light heavyweight contender. He had 20 professional fights. He was once a sparring partner, 2-time heavyweight champion Floyd Patterson. Now James Dorsey is battling for his life outside the ring. He was diagnosed with COVID-19 on July 22nd.
Never did I think he would be stricken down with something of this nature. Not that it couldn't happen to anyone, but someone of his strength and endurance and can-do will-to mentality and health, conscientious lifestyle, I would have never been a battle on the fact that he would have been so sick.
The 62-year-old Dorsey has proven to be a fighter.
He's showing good promise. He's required an artificial lung machine, which we call the ECMO, for close to 18 days. And yet we were able to successfully disconnect him, and he's breathing on his own with the help of a ventilator still.
In early June, this was Dorsey working out. hitting the heavy bag in Social Park home.
When he was whacking the bag in our backyard and doing road work, and it just came on. Stiffness in his neck. The breathing started being labored and a fever out of nowhere.
For Dorsey's wife, Lisa, it's day by day, praying her husband's health improves. During this time, the boxing world has reached out showing their support. That includes opponents James once fought.
Bobby Chez, you name it, Dickie Woods, all of them. He's fought Tony Tucker. So many great people have reached out. The Muhammad Ali family, who's very close with us.
Medical professionals are doing everything they can so that Dorsey can go the distance, survive, and beat the virus. But there's a message for everyone in the midst of the coronavirus. It's a fight before it can be knocked out.
And I just told him to keep fighting and he won't be able to talk to me for a while. But not to give up.
And the Dorsey family tells me that the boxing world has reached out to help pay for some of the medical expenses. They are also setting up a GoFundMe page. Outside Holy Cross Hospital, Fort Lauderdale, Mike Pasquale, 7 News.
Wish him the best, Mike. Thank you. A firefight at a South Florida home. Firefighters arriving to this home covered in smoking flames in the area of Southwest 65th Street and 127th Path. They were able to contain this fire quickly. Nobody was hurt. But the cause is now under investigation.
Coming up here from the Newsplex, a car crashed into a hospital emergency room, and tonight one of the victims has questions for police.
Also, surveillance video leading police to a South Florida man accused of a sickening assault. They say what he was wearing connects him to the crime.
Why is Miami Shores trying to sink one family socially distant fund? 7 investigates.
Joe Biden says...
If you elect me, your taxes are going to be raised, not cut.
That means middle-class families, small businesses, and seniors pay higher taxes. It's the biggest tax increase in history.
Citizenship for 11 million undocumented folks.
That means 11 million illegal immigrants competing for American jobs, eligible for free health care, Social Security, and Medicare. America can't afford Joe Biden.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
All new Hondas are on clearance from just $169 a month. Save now. Hondas cost less than the competition. On clearance from $169 a month. Search your local Honda dealer today.
Pandemic, social justice, change. For Miami-Dade Mayor, the choice is clear. Daniela Levine Cava, an ethical leader with the vision to deliver results. Our doctors, nurses, and working families endorse Daniela because she will reform county government. As yesterday's politicians hide their failed records of broken promises and corruption, Daniela Levine Cava will fix what they broke.
For 40 years, my fight for a better future has always been about you and your families.
In the race for mayor, a clear choice. 3 county commissioners with failed records, housing costs rising, traffic gridlocked, and COVID-19 surging. We can do better.
I'm Alex Pinellas. I'm tired of the excuses. I've led us through tough times before. My recovery plan will ramp up virus testing, put people back to work, and provide relief to small businesses. We can't afford more of the same. It's time for proven leadership.
The best new cars, Honda. Make the best used cars, Honda Certified Pre-Owned. Inspected and certified with 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty that is backed by Honda. Hundreds are on sale now. Search your local Honda dealer today.
A South Florida family says their city is trying to sink their summertime fun in a swimming pool.
What's behind this backyard battle? Karen Hetzel has tonight's 7 Investigates.
Finding socially distanced activities is a challenge in the age of coronavirus, especially when you have children.
Even if the streets are open, I don't want to go.
See what I got to say.
For me, the pool was like, wow. Thank God that I have a pool and
Really gotta pee though.
go and sit down in the backyard. I've seen my daughter work somebody up with farm. I've been living in Miami for 10 years. I had the pool already for a year, and never have a problem.
No problems until June, when she got a violation notice from the Miami Shores Code Compliance Office. It stated she needed to remove the 18-foot pool because it was not of approved materials.
If I don't remove the pool, they're going to put a fine for each day they have the pool.
Miami Shores says Limas violated a section of the construction code that says all buildings and structures shall be constructed of materials approved under the Florida Building Code. Limas' argument, what construction? She assembled her store-bought pool from a box.
It's some sort of like a big construction or something in the backyard, like structure. Nothing to do with the pool.
And look what we found as we drove through Miami Shores: playground equipment, sheds, even a few other small pools. We asked Miami Shores for copies of violations issued to any other residents for above-ground pools over the last 5 years. There was just one other case in 2017 for an above-ground pool, not made of cement. As for Limas' pool, the village tells 7 News it started with an anonymous neighbor complaint.
I have fence around my house, so nobody's in danger.
Limas is not giving up on his backyard battle. She's not removing the pool. She plans to fight the village's violation notice at an upcoming hearing. In Miami Shores, Sarah Hensel, 7 News.
And still an angry night, Florida family fought the skies above their home were clear.
Yeah, but there was a destructive strike from the sky.
Oh my, I'm Steve, coming up in sports. The top guy at the U believes football games will start on schedule. And they need to have 2 more games before the playoffs. OKC tonight, we got the coach in the bubble. 7 Sports, stick around.
She broke barriers as the first Hispanic female state attorney in the state. Through smart justice initiatives, Protectus Burnell built crucial community partnerships, fight crime, and make our community a safe place to live, work, and raise a family. She spent her career fighting for inclusive lives, and our community support. Honor Reward August 18th. You can vote for Catherine Fernandez Burnell for state attorney.
Yes.
This is X5 Complete from Extended. You'll get the X5 gateway and advanced security, so your connected devices are also protected. And stay out. Plus unlimited data, you can stream and scroll more than ever. And will ensure you get the most Wi-Fi coverage throughout your home. This is X5 Complete. Simple, easy, awesome. Get the security, unlimited data, and Wi-Fi coverage with you. Plus, X5 customers can add X5 Complete for $11 a month. Click your call today. We've always been safety first. And we always will. For people. For the future. And it has never been summer. It's not anymore. Wherever you go, summer safely. Get 0% APR financing for up to 5 years on select models and exclusive lease offers.
There's a great deal at stake in the August 18th election for county mayor. I'm the only political conservative on the ballot, and I'm the only one committed to not raise taxes. The county must focus on core services and not on pet projects. Liberals are doing more government and more taxes for us. We can't become another enormous ghetto, and we can't go back to the corruption of the past. That's why I'm asking for your vote, so that together we can move Miami-Dade County forward.
Key West Squad with a high of 93. 87 in Magic City, Key West 88. The same as Palmdale, Pembroke Pines, 1 degree warmer. Pressure 20. The wind between 10 and 12 miles per hour. The humidity at 72%. Here's a storm tracker, much of all that heavy rain.
Oh Lord.
We're looking at the body of data.
Yeah, get.
Here, Friday, and Rollins, we have some more showers. Hang on. Maybe from Marathon to Chicago, we'll see some showers later on this evening. 35-mile winds. This is a 5-day advisory on tropical depression to the 11. High pressure will continue to push it to the northwest, but become Josephine, going over 9 hours. And then it's going to come close to Leeward Islands, so we're moving in offshore. Eventually, it's going to make a turn and weaken back down to a possible depression on Monday. And it's going to slow down. It's going to look for a gap here between high pressure to the east and a front coming off the major drift section. So this road hopefully to keep it out of the river waters of the Atlantic. Plus, all the spotty rainfall tonight by all high pressure still dominating the weather. It's going to be hot, it's going to be humid, a couple of humid downpours. And then by Friday, even around about the week, with that high pressure system still from South Florida, it's zero reflection of second little chance for some thunderstorms. Seems to be out there running, waiting for the fire. Time change, we go 5, 9:37 for Florida, 99:46, Key West 10:23. Tonight, partly cloudy, a couple of isolated showers, overnight lows on the warm side, in the low 80s. Right now, looking at partly cloudy skies, isolated thunderstorms, highs of 90, 91, and 93 in Miami. Here's your extended outlook. A little bit of a chance for some more thunderstorms on Friday, and then typical summer over the weekend, and too much up next week. That's 7:40. Stacey Jill.
Next time on the displays, the Canes remain optimistic about playing football this fall. Fingers crossed. See you guys 7 Sports. We'll look at that.
Later, even secret superpowers out there. It's like 5 minutes. It starts with private power, something like that about what they discovered about themselves. Project Echo is on like at 7:30.
This summer offers to build a new American economy for our families and our communities.
Hello?
We're going to be a great opportunity to build back and build back better. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Choose home delivery or curbside pickup. Mi Casa or Su Casa. Paperless transaction makes buying a Toyota easy peasy. Plus 5,000 over KDE for your trade. All yours at Kendall Toyota and West Kendall Toyota. I'm Sheriff Bernie Cars. Fighting police brutality is my top priority. My predecessor, Scott Israel, did nothing to stop police brutality. No discipline, no accountability for officers using excessive force. Now we learn Israel himself was accused of unnecessary force 6 times. After all this happened, why would we look back to the failures of the past? Police brutality, ending it starts with who's in charge. It starts with me. I'm Sheriff Bernie Cars.
General Phillips is giving peace of mind that your safety and security are provided for. Here you can revel in the vibrant community as dynamic as its surroundings. Enjoy a rich tapestry of experiences and focus on living well. Just like you, we're always growing. Our innovative Westlake community will include 150 apartment homes, exceptional dining, and new amenity spaces. Super Possibility Place. Learn more at johnnoxvillage.com today. Democrat Joshua Rydell is Broward County's champion for criminal justice reform. As our next state attorney, Joshua Rydell will focus on ending mass incarceration by addressing serious crimes like Broward County needs in the state attorney's office. Learn more at joshuarydell.com.
Summer's last sale is a big one. At City Furniture's Labor Day sale, you can find all the trends you want at the prices you'll love. Because with 60 months special financing and next day delivery, we're making it easy. So every
City tip-off 8 o'clock. The Heat will get either the 4th or the 5th playoff seed. The Heat are 3-3 since the restart in Orlando. 8 games in just 14 days. But Coach has no complaints about how things have worked in the bubble.
Anything right now with the NBA is good. You know, we're out here completing a season in a global pandemic. You know, it's just all good. You know, right now, the fact that we're able to do this.
Good work. They didn't send us much, but the Dolphins gave us 2 shots of Tua at practice today. He talks to the media tomorrow. And by the way, Fox Sports released a trailer of the documentary on Tua's life. It's called Tua. It premieres Sunday, September 6th at 4 o'clock, right here on Fox and Channel 7. The Big Ten and the Pac-12 said yesterday they were postponing fall sports. The 2 conferences announced today they will play football in the spring. UM and the ACC going as scheduled. Kings holding daily practices. UM scheduled to open in just over 3 weeks. September 10th against Alabama Birmingham. The president of the university is encouraged about starting on time.
We have had student athletes on campus in all of our universities during my senior year. And I can tell you the last 2 tests, we have athletes having 0 positive cases. I'm still on strings. They are entrusted to follow those orders and very clearly what which in this case is to play.
Follow the rules. 6 straight wins got us a little excited. Now the Marlins have lost 3 in a row. They play Toronto again tonight in Buffalo. They wasted a comeback last night. Marlins tied the game on a 3-run homer by catcher Francisco Cervelli. The 9th inning lasted back, only to lose the game in the 10th inning 5-4. Tough loss, but nobody's dragging. Time to get back at it tonight.
There's days we feel tired and we get a little groggy from what we've been doing, and you get a little flat feeling. But at game time, they've been pretty good. You can tell they like to play. And that's always fun when you have guys that love to play, but also we're going to be competitive, but they like to compete.
Baseball and media highlights first at 10. If you won the lottery to go to the Masters this year, you're SOL. Look that up if you don't know the initials. Tiger Woods will defend with no fans on the course. Usually the Masters gets 40,000 fans for the 4 rounds. This year, none. The Masters moved to November 12th. Usually it's played in April, all related to coronavirus. SOL. Look it up. Back to Craig.
So first thing I'm going to do, I'm off the set. Thanks, Steve.
You don't have to burn it off as a kid. Can I have this? No, I'm very familiar with it. See that? I think that's 6 o'clock. Thanks for watching.
She's been yes to a lot of things. Your mother is an angel. I'm the Martinez. 7 is 6:30, the seconds away.
I'm Paul. Give me a call. Paul Baines Roofing. 981 PaulBainesRoofing.com. Leadership. They inherit the order of warrior skill. Great leaders don't all lead the same way or travel the same path. They don't all follow the same rules. Leadership. It's about confidence, not arrogance. Great leaders are passionate. They know that passion ignites passion. It excites. It energizes. It makes the improbable seem possible and keeps people going through the tough times. They know that collectively we are stronger and smarter when we are united, and they don't make it about themselves, for they understand that to achieve significant success, it has to be bigger than just one person. So the question is, in these tough times, who do you trust to lead your community? Keon Harder. Proven leadership, proven results.
On August 18th, please vote number 333 for Keon Harder as your next Miami-Dade County Commissioner in District 3.
This is 7 News and 6:30.
A double-edged debut, former Vice President Joe Biden and Senator Kamala Harris under one roof for the first time as roommates. Well, welcome everybody. The newly formed Democratic ticket laying out their plans for America in their first campaign event.
Reporter Ray Bogan is live in Wilmington, Delaware, where that event was held. And it's got more, right? Robin, good evening to you. It's quiet here now at Alexis DuPont High School, where not too long ago there were a little over 100 supporters and a handful of protesters behind me, hoping to see Joe Biden and Kamala Harris together for the first time as running mates, where Harris said that the case against Donald Trump and Mike Pence is open and shut.
Kamala knows how to govern. She knows how to make the hard calls. She's ready to do this job on day one.
A celebration for former Vice President Joe Biden standing on stage with his newly selected running mate, California Senator Kamala Harris.
His empathy, his compassion, his sense of duty to care for others is why I am so proud to be on this ticket.
The pair highlighting their platform if they win in November, while also taking aim at President Trump and his administration.
Trying to get to work. Fixing the mess that President Trump and Vice President Pence created, both at home and abroad.
Putting Harris on the ticket fulfills a promise to voters that Biden would pick a woman as his vice president. And following the unrest that came from George Floyd's death, the selection of a woman of color. The Trump campaign is calling Kamala Harris's record radical and says her policies would negatively impact the economy.
She is for the Green New Deal. She is for government-run health care. She is for abortion in the 9th month. And if she's not, I want her to say that today.
During his speech, Joe Biden gives an insight into extraordinary fundraising that his campaign had yesterday. He said that they more than doubled their previous grassroots record for a single day. Well, that previous record was $7.6 million. So that means yesterday they raised at least $15 million after that announcement. Robin, Jeff, back to you.
All right, great, thank you. A wet Wednesday across parts of South Florida. Flooded streets in Deerfield Beach, rounds of rain, leaving some parts soaked.
And an Atlantic tropical depression 11 set to strengthen as it continues to slowly move westward. Meteorologist Pharaoh has more from the Weather Center.
So this morning we had very light winds pushing in some moisture and just stuck right across the area, especially Broward County, where at sunrise there was an inch of rain, and that just went up and up across right across Port Beach, South Coast, and Deerfield Beach. That prompted a street flood advisory that was canceled at 12:30 this afternoon. Right now, everything's looking nice and dry. We can still see an isolated shower later on this evening. Meanwhile, this is the close-up view of tropical depression number 11. It is trying so hard to get its act together. Some thunderstorms developing there in those rolling cloud tops. But the southern half of the system remains exposed to the elements, and therefore it remains as a tropical depression. As of 5 p.m., 35-mile-an-hour winds moving west at 15, just over 1,200 miles away from the northernmost Leeward Islands. High pressure will continue to push the system to the northwest. To become Josephine overnight, it's going to come close to the Leeward Islands of Maine offshore. Then it is expected to weaken as it runs into some very strong upper level winds. It's going to look for a path there if it's still around on Tuesday between high pressure and a front moving off on the east coast of the U.S. We'll have a lot more on this a little bit later on in Month.
Caught by police after being caught on camera. This was a brazen act. It happened just after 3 a.m. on August 5th. Miami Beach police say Pedro Tamayo, armed with a knife, approached a man and a woman who were sitting on the beach near the 3rd Street lifeguard stand. He punches the male victim, knocks him, forces him down to the ground, takes his jewelry, and then instructs him to walk towards the ocean. Police say Tamayo then turned his attention to the female victim. He pushes the knife, presses it up against her back.
We want to go up or here.
At that point, he digitally penetrates her, removes a necklace with a unique pendant that she has on while threatening her, and ultimately flees the scene. Detectives quickly got to work combing through surveillance video to catch the culprit. They say these images track a man on a bike right before and after the incident. And by Thursday, police say they found Tamayo in a nearby residential area on the same bike and wearing the same shoes from the video. And once he stops, he's actually wearing that necklace with that unique pendant that he had stolen from the victim. He admits to being in the area, although denies involvement in this particular case. Tamayo was taken in by police and the next day faced the judge. You were arrested on serious charges.
Tamayo is being held at CGK without bond, but police believe there might be other victims connected to Tamayo. They say if you have any information on that, you should give them a call. Reporting him on being truck here, 70.
While the New City is being urged to mask up to fend off COVID-19, health experts have an update on just how the virus is transmitted.
So Trey Stevens at the Satellite Center to explain that. Jack Robin, there's a new study that's just come out, and some experts say it shed some light on the spread of the virus as it relates to passing through the air. Researchers at the University of Florida are out with a new study on the transmission of COVID-19. Findings made possible, they say, thanks to some cutting-edge equipment.
We were able to detect the virus in the air in a hospital room with COVID patients, and that virus is infectious.
Dr. John Levitsky is part of the team that conducted the study. Technology they use gently removes virus aerosols from the air without damaging them. They tested virus samples on cells infected with the coronavirus. The samples were gathered from as far away as 16 feet from COVID patients.
The virus can remain viable in air that was infectious in air, and it can travel further than a lot of people previously thought.
Social distancing guidelines have generally focused on the spread of the virus within 6 feet. Now, some believe this study proves infections can happen through the air, and that these aerosols can travel farther than first thought.
What's in the air may be a danger to you.
That's a potential concern as schools gear up for the new year. And while some school systems are conducting classes online, from public schools to college and universities, some plan to reopen their campuses. Online comes this advice.
The best things again.
What are you doing?
You have a sick kid, don't send him to school. If the teacher's sick, the teacher will go to school.
And of course, the safe preventative measures that have been encouraged by the medical community since the start of the pandemic can reduce the spread of those infectious aerosols.
Until the virus goes away, wear those masks.
What?
And we can keep it under control. Do that social distancing and wear those masks.
Dr. Levitsky says he was also looking into the potential changes and mutations with the COVID-19 virus and what that could mean for treatment down the line. At the Satellite Center, I'm Craig.
Hold on just a second, baby.
All right, Greg, U.S. officials meanwhile signing a big deal with drug manual for October vaccine.
What about the party? Who? Who are you talking to?
Flash victims to be rushed to the emergency room because they were already there when this happened.
Plus, Mother Nature is striking a pose for the camera, doing it
Who's here?
here in Florida.
What are you talking about, baby? Rawr.
Powered by Australia Insurance.
Who's there? A friend of yours? Your friend there?
Nobody Cohen. We put you first. Call 833 Cohen.
Mooks had time to scare people.
How's the next kid? It only gets better when you switch and save with Geico.
Okay.
You'll get select VIN bonus cash up to $2,000 financing with a super easy approval process. And that's why Halloween kids remember.
Oh,
And why
do you
this
hear?
is about to be a part of our biggest sale ever. We want to see ya in a brand new or a certified pre-owned Hollywood Kia.
Didn't he get kicked out?
Have COVID-19
In a minute.
Baptist Health help is here for you. Call our COVID-19 hotline at 833-MY-BAPTIST or visit baptisthealth.net/coronavirus to perform a risk assessment. If your symptoms are mild, use the Baptist Health Care on Demand app. And if your symptoms are moderate, get care now by visiting any of our urgent care locations throughout South Florida. In case of severe symptoms, call 911 or visit the closest emergency room.
Find your keys. Find your get up and go. Find pants that aren't sweats. Find your friends. Find your sense of wonder. Find the world is new again. It's time to find new roads again.
People heard at a hospital when an SUV slams through an emergency room. That area filled with people during the waiting room wreck.
One person was killed in this crash, others injured, and now ridiculous demanding answers because the driver was never charged.
It's new video of an emergency at the emergency room in Atlanta, Georgia. Watch as the driver of that Mercedes SUV loses control, slams into a
Hello,
and then
BT.
crashes right into the Piedmont Hospital ER. Kyle Davey was in the passenger of the SUV, eventually winding up underneath those crushed glass doors. She gives a second-by-second account of the crash. In all, 4 people,